Red Bull Rampage is the most televised mountain biking day of the year, with jaw-dropping lines, but also this year a jaw-dropping list of injuries, which calls me to ask, is it time Red Bull Rampage gets banned? This year, Rampage has really come under fire from other publications, which has given me the confidence to speak out when technically I've been against Rampage from the off, and I will discuss why in this video. I want to call into question whether riders should design their own death lines in a points race that rewards danger. And given how much Red Bull gains from this event, should they compensate more and support injured riders better? It may not be a yes-no answer to banning Rampage, but I think it's a really important debate to be had, and especially in the public domain, so that we can put pressure on this event improving. Rampage is one of the most televised events held by Red Bull. It's in Virgin, Utah. There's no taped course, no standard track, and no track building crew either. Riders choose and build their own lines with dig teams that are often just friends with their own jobs, armed with sandbags and watering cans that they bought themselves. Judging rewards line difficulty, amplitude, tricks, and style, although the point scoring system is far from transparent.
Honestly, it's really up to the judges about the ranking. So honestly, I think I can speak for everyone. You don't really expect anything. You just go down and hope for the best.
It's freeride meets made-for-TV spectacle. It's hard to not get swept up in the stoke of someone completing the run of their life. Rampage is unlike anything else. The hype is real, don't get me wrong, but so is the risk. And publications are now starting to take note. Jonathan at Blister wrote, "The number of athlete injuries and the severity of the injuries that we just witnessed at Rampage, I am not okay with, because I don't think we can view this last Rampage even as just a fluke." In 2015, Paul Basagosha suffered a spinal cord injury from a crash at Rampage, but it was considered a bit of a one-off freak accident. But here we are, exactly 10 years on, and Adolf Silva has just succumbed to a similar fate, proving the danger of Rampage is ever present and potentially still increasing. This year, 8 riders were seriously injured, 5 of which were women, and it happened in practice. They didn't even make it to finals. Finals day for the men also brought some horrific crashes. Emil Johnson dislocated his hip and was airlifted. Adolf Silva confirmed spinal injury.
Hey guys, it's Adolf Silva here. As most of you might know, I had a big crash. I ended up under-rotating quite a little bit and broke my...
My Instagram feed is absolutely full of hype clips from Rampage, both in the lead up and the fallout of the event. But the hype is short-lived, and when the world has forgotten about the event, injured athletes are struggling to get on with their life, with no support whatsoever from Red Bull. Jonathan from Blisters magazine writes, "Where there's a decent risk of broken bones or blown ligaments, I'm okay with that. But where there is a decent risk of paralysis or death, I am not." If this were downhill skiing or motocross, and half the field were injured in practice, let alone in the finals, would that event still go ahead? And frankly, would we trust those riders or skiers to build their own course? And even if we did, would we reward them for the most dangerous course? What makes, but also breaks, Rampage's magic is that riders build their own lines, with judging that rewards gnar, amplitude, trick stats, and this just incentivizes escalation. Bigger flips, more lips, gnarlier lines.
Trying to do something comfortable and smooth, but it always ends up being gnarlier than what you think you're signing yourself up for.
Red Bull Rampage is the scariest event of the year.
Ray drops in on his... Oh no!
Rampage is kind of taking myself into this, it's taking myself out of this comfort zone. And I think that's why I love it, It's cool to come here and feel so kind of, like it almost makes you feel like a beginner. Some of this stuff, you know, it scares you so much. It makes you feel so nervous about riding again. And this place is pretty unforgiving.
I know that building your own line is the root of freeride, and these guys arguably would be out there doing this anyway, even if Rampage didn't exist. But should they be doing it as a competition for the benefit of a multi-million-pound company? Can the riders be trusted to build their own lines, especially when they're being judged on the level of danger they're putting themselves in? And the riders might be okay with the risk, and they might be okay with doing it for Red Bull. But when Red Bull gains so much from these guys literally putting their careers and their lives on the line, does it then become a bit of a moral question as to whether they are adequately compensated or adequately supported if things go wrong? Viewership for Red Bull Rampage isn't small. This year, in 2025, it peaked with circa 87,000 views and nearly 500,000 hours watched, and TV replays could potentially add a few million more views. This event is one of Red Bull's marquee events with multi-platform reach globally. This is a marketing event. Payments, expenses, and costs are all pretty unpublicized, and not many riders want to, understandably, go public with it. So it's hard to work out whether people are adequately compensated for this event or not, because it does depend rider on rider and year on year. However, it's fair to say that Red Bull do not pay each rider to turn up, and it's only been recently that riders have seemingly rallied together a type of union in order to argue for expenses to be covered. Bear in mind that these riders have to walk into a desert and stay there for 2 weeks to build this course. And we know from personal diaries like Brendan Fairclough's dog's life that often that dig team is just his friends that he lives close to, who have taken time off out of their own schedules to volunteer to build his lines. And Brendan has to rally around to get extra sponsorship to fund him to go, or to fund him to buy the tools that he needs to build this line. When Red Bull stand to gain so much marketing from this event, it irks me that they do not support the riders with all the expenses that they need, let alone pay the riders to turn up. For many of these riders, this is their one event of the year. Perhaps all of their sponsorship relies on them being a Rampage rider only. Perhaps they won't do any other event. It's no wonder that there's a go big or go home, or a checkers or wreckers attitude, and I'm not sure that that's right. You may think that downhill racers have a similar problem and that they would succumb to this go big or go home mentality as well. The downhill racers have multiple events throughout the year in order to shine on. And even other freeride events are more of a festival style, which means they're not pressured to do it like a race scenario where one chance and that's it. They tend to be given, say, a weekend in order to perform when the wind is right or when the vibe is right, and they're ready to do so. Perhaps I could get over the fact that riders aren't paid, because there's many events where riders will turn up to a race and they're not paid to be there by the event. But when injuries are catastrophic and on the rise, and riders are having to crowdfund themselves to support themselves after injury, that I'm not really okay with. Single Track magazine have likened this event to a gladiator pit, where Red Bull are the emperor calling people to their doom for the purposes of a good sizzle reel on Instagram. Now this sounds dramatic, but I kind of totally get their point. If the riders aren't the main benefactor in this event, then does the level of risk become immoral? The benefit of being a Red Bull athlete is that you get paid, but also you have access to a high-end, world-class, leading training and recovery facility We have seen Red Bull athletes recover in record time previously from injuries thanks to this specialist facility. But do you think any of the Rampage riders have access to that if anything goes wrong? My question is, if this brand benefits so much from this spectacle, should they be offering that facility? Should they be offering more support if something goes wrong? If Red Bull benefit financially from this event, should they be ring-fencing their profits to go towards better insurance, rehab after injury, or even income replacement if things go wrong? If not, why not?
3, 2, 1.
It's so cliche to say it's death-defying, but I mean, it is nowadays.
That's what it is here, man. Like, we love the sport. We want to push it.
The safety during Red Bull Rampage is totally different to any other mountain bike race, let alone sport out there. If we look at downhill mountain biking, which is a close comparator, at a race, you will have a standard course that's created by someone else who's unbiased, and it gets track walked and safety inspected. Trees get padded, exposed cliffs get barriered off so that no one falls off it and dies. Red Bull Rampage has none of that. And I guess that is the spirit of Rampage. That is freeride. But there are some safety protocols in there that can improve things for the care of riders without completely degrading the spirit of freeride. One of my big gripes is that concussion doesn't seem to be taken seriously at Rampage, and it's almost expected that that rider would continue and finish their line and perhaps go on and do another run.
We're the exact opposite of soccer players, man. We don't fake injury, we fake that we're okay.
There needs to be a process. If a rider hits their head, they should be treated the same way as an NFL player or as a downhill racer. They are out of there because you cannot trust that if someone has concussion, that they can complete one of the hardest runs of their lives. Some people in the comments are calling for an outright ban on Rampage because it's getting to a point where it's not fun to watch anymore. I've quoted Blister magazine a couple of times, and their readers are leaning towards having the event banned altogether. I don't think we should ban Rampage at all, but I don't want to see it at the level of injuries that it is now, and I think that that can be quelled. I do think Red Bull need to have a duty of care to their riders. Here's some things that Red Bull could do to reform. Fresh venues or a rotation of venues to reduce this bigger lip Seine cliff escalation. Independent line safety review. Transparent compensation. And my favourite, some more safety regulations. Okay guys, I've waffled on enough. You let me know down in the comments below what you think. If you could implement one change for Rampage tomorrow that you think would improve the event or improve the safety, but without killing the spirit of it, without killing the spirit of freeride, what would it be? Is it even possible? Should we ban Rampage altogether, modify it, reform it, or just leave it as is because it's all good? Let me know down in the comments below.